As MJ living in Seoul, BTS lyrics and conversations often have a deep social and historical background, but many may not have been exposed to much information about Korean history and society. So today I'm gonna briefly tell you about Korean history based on BTS lyrics and conversations.
자, 여러분, 우리나라가 어떤 민족입니까?
배달의 민족이요.
Gojoseon has been recorded as the first country built on the Korean peninsula. It was founded in 2333 BC. The founder's name was Dangun. Some hypothesis says he was also called Bedar. That's why the Korean people are called themselves as the people of Bedar after his name. Bedar also means delivery in homonyms. Delivery service in Korea is very common and popular, and one of the delivery companies chose this famous phrase as their company name. And one line from company's advertisement became very popular. What kind of people are we? The answer was the people of Bedar. At the last permission to dance on stage in Seoul concert, Taeyang parodied it to answer that armies are the people of doing waves. Since the Gojoseon period, many countries have been created and disappeared. Then from the 1st and 2nd centuries, 3 countries, Goguryeo, Baekje, and Silla were established and lasted for hundreds of years. This period is called the Three Kingdoms period. Around Seoul, 3 countries took turns and occupied each other. Therefore, Yoongi, Taeyong, Jimin, and Jungkook, whose hometowns are Gyeongsangdo, are descendants of Silla. Hwarang in the lyrics means flower and youth. This refers to an institution that selected young men in Silla and educated them as soldiers and government officers. They are characterized by their outstanding beauty, like today's idol groups.
국보 반가사요상, 사유해방 개관에 맞춰 반가사요상의 모습을 본뜬 미니어처를 출시했는데
And during the period, Buddhism flowed into all 3 countries and settled down. One of the representative artworks of the time is Pansi Bodhisattva. It is Buddhist art that expresses a person who is lost in meditation while sitting his legs half crossed. It is preserved and displayed at the National Museum of Korea. It also sells its miniature of it as a souvenir. Namjoon once posted these miniatures. They were on the desk in a photo on Twitter.
Hello, we are BTS.
둘, 셋, 박!
자, 안녕하세요. 방탄소년단입니다.
Since the 7th century, the Korean peninsula has been largely divided into Balhae and Silla. This period is also called the era of North and South nations. BTS once delivered a congratulatory speech at the National Museum of Korea for graduates in 2020, and there was a tombstone behind them. This was created during this period. Other artworks include gold crowns, Buddhist bells, and stone pagodas.
지금 다이아몬드로 만든 황금 비석을 깨트렸어.
다이아몬드로 만든 황금 비석이 아닙니다, 부장님. 아미밤으로 만든 아미밤 비석이에요.
뭐야? 아미로 만든 아미밤 비석이라고. 그거 상당히 샤이닝하고.
에밀레동이야 뭐야?
While the members were talking about the army headstone in the Run BTS episode, Namjoon said the army headstone was made of an army bomb. Then Taeyong said it's very cruel to hear that the army bomb headstone was made of army. Then Yoongi giggled and responded, is it even an amulet bell? The amulet bell that Yoongi mentioned was made during this period. It is a bronze bell and is huge. It has been preserved for over 1,200 years and still produces a clear sound. The bell sounds so sad that it was like a child calling his mother. So for a time, people wondered whether they had actually put a child in the bell when making castings. That's why Yoongi asked if armies in it, is it amulet bell or what? Additionally, an investigation was actually conducted due to people's inquiries, and the investigation concluded that there was no human component to the bell.
뭐야 이거? 누가 기침 소리를 내었는가? 누가 기침 소리를 내었는가 말이야.
What Jimin copied is Kungye, a famous historical figure and a distinctive character in the drama.
누구인가? 지금 누가 기침 소리를 내었어? 신이 옵니다, 폐하.
In the 10th century, a country called 후고구려 appeared in 901, and the king's name at this time was 궁예. Then in 918, Wangon, one of the generals of 궁예, drove out the king and then became the king himself and changed the name of the country to Goryeo, which lasted nearly 500 years. In the 2000s, a drama about the founding of Goryeo was aired, and the acting of the person who played the role of 궁예 was so outstanding that his line became a very famous meme till now. Who made the coughing sound? When Jimmy coughed on real life, a fan commented this line, and Jimmy mimicked the acting. In the case of art in Goryeo dynasty, Goryeo Celadon was famous. Namjoon once posted a picture on Weverse, and the pattern of his cell phone case was the representative pattern in Korean Celadon. Seo, one of the most important artists in K-pop history, released a song named 하여가 in 1993 and gained huge popularity. In 2017, BTS collaborated with him and sang this song together. The poem 하여가 was written by Lee Bang-won, the son of King Lee Seong-ge, who destroyed Goryeo and built a new country, Joseon, in 1392. It was written to appease Jung Mong-ju, a politician loyal to Goryeo, but failed to persuade him. Jin's lovely song Super Tuna also has the rhyme of the poem 어떠하리, means it doesn't matter or who cares. The poet in the past said it doesn't matter which country you are loyal to, and today's Jin says it doesn't matter what fish I catch. Lee Bang-won, the third king of Joseon, reorganized the administrative district of Joseon. He divided Joseon into 8 administrative districts and ruled centrally, and it was called 팔도, and the expressions like 팔도강산 or Joseon 팔도 still remained. Lee Bang-won's son is the King Sejong, who created Hangul. He not only created Hangul, but also encouraged the development of science, technology, culture, and art. He worked hard to strengthen the national defense capabilities too, and he completed the border of the current Korean peninsula. Hwanghae in the lyrics is a unique figure in Joseon history. In 1592, 200 years after the founding of Joseon, Japan suddenly invaded Joseon. At that time, Joseon and its king were not ready to fight. The king didn't want Hwanghae as crown prince, but appointed him crown prince to solve the situation. He overcame the crisis with special ability, but he is eventually ousted.
하나 둘 셋 화이팅 한번 해주세요. 하나 둘 셋. 존나 귀엽게 하나 둘 셋. 멋지게 하나 둘 셋. 이순신 장군처럼 하나 둘 셋.
Lee Sun-shin is the general who led Korea to victory over the Japanese invaders. Joseon's history continued by preventing Japanese invasion with Lee Sun-shin's courage and resourcefulness. Taeyong said, fighting like Lee Sun-shin to J-Hope, meaning to do his best smartly and courageously.
남준이 그 무슨 썰기야? 이거? 남준 썰기. 야! 내가 이렇게 자르랬지 누가 타질했어?
신에게는 아직 양파 반 개가 남아 있습니다. 이 나머지 반 개를 잘 썰어보겠습니다.
오케이.
What Namjoon said is also one of Admiral Lee Sun-shin's famous quotes. When Japan invaded Joseon, Joseon was not ready and Joseon's naval forces were fatally defeated. At that time, there were hundreds of Japanese ships and only a few ships remained in Joseon. Therefore, the king was about to give up the sea of Joseon. Then Admiral Lee Sun-shin said, we still have 12 ships left. After that, he won a great victory and prevented Japan from invading. Since then, this word has meant achieving the maximum performance with the least. Namjoon parodied his words, meaning that he would cut the remaining half of the onion in high quality.
우리가 없어 나라면은 통통 그냥 통통 떨어져라 통통 가지는 통통 느껴지는 고통.
The title of the song is Turtle Ship. The turtle ship was built by Lee Sun-shin to prepare for war, and they were called the turtle ship because the ship looks like a turtle. And he covered the lid on the ship and planted the iron spikes on it to attack and defend.
약속 아닌 약속 분위기가 만들어졌던 것 같아요.
The Joseon dynasty ended in 1910, 518 years after it was founded. Japan forcibly occupied Joseon for 35 years. During this period, many men were forced to work and many women were taken to sexual slavery. There are still a few survivors and some companies have tried to help them. BTS members have been seen with bracelets and cell phone cases made by these companies. In this video, Suga were a bring of this company. During the Japanese colonial era, people struggled in various ways for independence. In 1945, Japan lost the Pacific War, surrendered unconditionally on August 15, and Korea gained liberation at this time. It was a day when Koreans were freed from the pain of being colonized, so Koreans have been celebrating it as Independence Day. Jimin received a t-shirt as a gift. It had photos and phrases to commemorate the liberation of Korea. The scene in which he wore this t-shirt passed by very short and fast in the documentary. Since then, however, far-right activists in Japan have strongly opposed BTS' appearance on TV in Japan. As a result, their scheduled appearance on Japanese broadcasts was cancelled. After liberation, the Korean peninsula was divided into South and North Korea by ideology, and fierce war continued for 3 years from 1950. After that, peace has come, but at the same time, the whole country has been in utter ruin. People were poor and development was not easy. During the 1960s to 70s, it was difficult for Koreans to dream of traveling abroad. Hong Kong, which was close by, was the object of envy because it was full of lights at night. Therefore, the expression going to Hong Kong remained in Korea as a word expression extreme pleasure and orgasm. Korea grew rapidly through the 1970s to 80s, while investing all manpower and resources in the industry. In the past, the food called jjajangmyeon was kind of expensive and special food for special days such as graduation ceremonies. Since then, Korea's rapid economic growth has continued, and jjajangmyeon was no longer regarded as high-quality food, but it was still delicious. Jjajangmyeon in particular was the beginning of the delivery industry in Korea and was actively delivered even before any apps and disposable products were expanded. Therefore, it has become a representative and delicious food that Koreans can eat easily on the day they move. In modern Korean history, the development of democracy is indispensable along with economic growth. There are several important events that triggered the development of democracy, one of which was the Gwangju democratization movement that took place in Gwangju on May 18, 1980. J-Hope wrote this in his lyrics in a song called My City to honor people's life-threatening struggle to protect democracy in their hometown. Despite the diligent economic, social, and cultural development, Korea suffered a major financial crisis in the late 1990s. Korea has asked the International Monetary Fund for a bailout. Korea was one of the fastest countries that have escaped from the financial bailout system by repaying loans. In order to get out of this debt, Koreans donated their personal gold and carried out the Anabada movement, which means to save, share, exchange, and recycle things. After overcoming this period, the economy began to grow again. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Since the 2010s, Korean society has experienced new social problems. Among them, things that can be seen through BTS contents include the gap between rich and poor, low growth, and generational conflict. Korean history has changed rapidly, and various content such as BTS song and entertainment shows are set in these things. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and set a notification. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye!